So if you want to use email marketing in HubSpot, you might have some questions you've been asking. How exactly can we be able to use email marketing inside of HubSpot? Is HubSpot even the best tool to use for email marketing for your business? If you've been asking this question, then this video is for you. We are going to take you through how you can be able to set up email marketing features for your HubSpot account. We're going to show you how to set up emails, how to set up email sequence, how to set up different workflow automations that are going to support your email marketing process inside of your HubSpot account. We're also going to be showing you some things you need to configure first before you send your first email inside of your HubSpot account. We're going to look at how you can be able to create form and capture leads, and how you can be able to create an email list inside of HubSpot, how you can also be able to send emails to this email list. We're also going to be looking at the disadvantage of using HubSpot for email marketing and also the advantages of using HubSpot for email marketing. This video is a comprehensive tutorial, and I would advise that you actually go through it from the beginning to the end. And also, if you need a professional to help you set up email marketing inside of your HubSpot account, we are available for you, and you can book your free discovery call. The link is in the description below, or you can even send an email to contact@crminstructors.com and you send in your question, and we are available to answer all of your questions. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so let's start with what email marketing is inside of HubSpot. Inside of HubSpot, we have marketing emails, which is also known as the promotional emails we actually send inside of HubSpot. And to be able to send marketing emails, you can see it over here where you can be able to set up your emails and you can be able to send to people, or you can even be able to schedule these emails. This is where you are going to be creating your campaigns, your newsletters, your blog posts, emails, and all of these emails is going to be creating in the marketing email section. So these emails are actually different from one-on-one, and that is because one-on-one emails means that you are sending to the contact inside of the contact page. So if I go to any of my contacts in here and I want to send an email, I can be able to click on Emma here and I can be able to send an email directly to Emma. I just need to click on this. Now, this is actually different from the marketing email because the one-on-one email is sent to the particular contact at a particular time, while the marketing email can be sent to different people inside of different segments inside of HubSpot. So now let's get started. We are currently inside of HubSpot now. Before we actually send a single email inside of HubSpot, there are some settings we actually need to configure first before we can be able to send anything or So the first setting we are going to be looking at today is how to actually connect our email domain. Now, before you do email marketing inside of HubSpot, it is actually very important that you authenticate your email sending domain. And this allows HubSpot to be able to use your own email address to be able to send to different contacts or to be able to send marketing emails inside of HubSpot. So you can say that you already have a domain for your business, and you can be able to connect that domain into HubSpot so that you can be able to use your email domain or your domain email to be able to send emails in HubSpot. So for instance, we are crminstructors.com, and we can say that we have emmaglory@crminstructors.com. If it is possible that I want to use emmaglory@crminstructors.com to send emails to my subscribers. So what I need to do first is that I need to authenticate that domain first before I can be able to send emails inside of HubSpot. So to authenticate your domain, you are going to come into the settings here. When you click on settings, this is the first page you are going to see, and you're going to come down here and you are going to go into content. So when you click on content here, you are going to see domains and URL, and when you click on that, you can be able to see the domains that you currently have inside of your HubSpot account. So as you can see over here, we have the web hosting domains where you can be able to connect with your landing pages, you can be able to connect to your website, to your forms. These are the domains you are going to be using here. So email sending domains just means that you can be able to connect the email that is actually connected to your own domain. So for instance, we have crminstructors.com, and we can be able to say that we want to be able to use contact@crminstructors.com to send emails to our subscribers. So to do that, we need to be able to connect that domain first before we can be able to use that domain to send out emails in HubSpot. So to connect your domain, as you can see here, it is under the market marketing professional plan, and we can be able to start a free trial if we want, or we can be able to talk to sales, or we can be able to view pricing. And the pricing for the marketing or professional is $800 per month. And if you want to be able to connect your email domain, you need to be on the professional plan. As you can see, it's a bit pricey. So if this is something you want to use for your business, you can be able to pick the professional plan and you can get started. Let's go back here and let's start a 14-day free trial. And just because of this tutorial, we are going to be starting a free trial for this inside of HubSpot. So when you start the free trial, it is going to allow you to be able to have access to the marketing or professional. And also note that if you have your card connected to this and you want to start this free trial, you want to make sure that maybe you take off your card before the 14 days ends, because I am actually not sure if actually HubSpot is going to charge you automatically, but just take it off just to be safe. But it is $800 per month, and you can be able to connect your email sending domain now. So let's say we want to send from our domain, which is crminstructors.com, and we want to be able to use contact@crminstructors.com. So after typing your domain email here, you are going to see here where you can be able to click on next. And when you click on next here, it is going to show you that the email is going to be sent out from this domain. Even if you add any email that has this domain, you can be able to use it inside of HubSpot. So you are going to click on next. And when you click on next here, it is going to take you to the verification page where you can be able to verify your domain. Now, I'm going to say that it is actually very important you actually verify your domain first before you start sending emails inside of HubSpot. It is just to make sure that your emails are authenticated. Also, you can be able to set up the SPF, the DKIM, and also the DMARC records. And these records actually allow HubSpot to be able to send marketing emails on your behalf. Whichever domain provider, you want to make sure that you connect all of these records inside of your domain. So when you connect your DMARC, you connect your XPF, and you connect your DKIM, you can now be able to use this domain inside of HubSpot. So when you've added in all of these records inside of your domain provider, you want to click on verify in here. But I do not have access, so I will not be verifying in this video. So I am going to finish later, and as you can see here, it's saying my domain is not authenticated. So another thing you want to do also is you want to come to the general settings here, and you want to click on the email inbox here. And when you click on the email menu, you can be able to connect your own email account. So this is going to allow you to be able to send one-on-one email inside of HubSpot. Remember that when I tried to send emails to my contact, it is asking me to connect my inbox. And that is because my inbox is not yet connected. So I need to click on email here, and I can be able to connect my own email. And you can connect Gmail, you can connect Outlook, or whatever email you are using. And with this, you can be able to send and schedule emails directly to contact inside of your contact menu. You can also be able to log replies to HubSpot automatically, and you can be able to schedule follow-up tasks and capture contact details that are actually coming inside of your inbox. So if you turn on inbox automation, you can be able to automate with your inbox. So when you click on connect inbox, as you can see here, it is asking me to put my email address. I'll be using my Gmail account, and if anyone is sending an email to this inbox, I want to be able to receive this email inside my HubSpot account. So I'm going to click on next here, and as you can see here, it is saying that my email is hosted by Google, and it's asking us to connect to Gmail. So I'm going to click on connect to Gmail, and you want to make sure that you read all of this. And when you read all of this T and C, you can be able to click on agree, and it is going to take you to the place where you can be able to choose the Google account you want to connect to. So I'm going to click on that Google account, and it is going to connect into HubSpot. So I click on continue, and I grant all of this access to HubSpot. Remember that if you do not grant access to HubSpot, you will not be able to use this configuration very well inside of HubSpot. So you want to make sure that you grant all of this access to HubSpot. That means they can be able to view an email message on your behalf, and they can be able to send emails on your behalf. So you click on continue here, and your access is going to be granted into HubSpot. So when you go back to HubSpot in here, as you can see, it is establishing the connection. and it is also verifying the connection. You can also download the extension, and this extension is can be used for Gmail or for Outlook, and it is going to allow you to be able to enter your email inbox, and you can be able to capture details from your email inbox. So when I click on download extension here, it is going to take me to the place where I can be able to pick whether Gmail or whatever, and I'm going to say I want to download for Google Chrome. It took me to the web store where I can be able to download this plugin for this extension for HubSpot sales. So I'm going to click on add to Chrome, and that is going to add my extension to Chrome. So the regular way where we can be able to add different extensions in Chrome, it is also going to show up inside of this place. And as you can see, it has been added to Chrome, and I can click on this and I can be able to pin this. So when I pin this in here, I can now be able to see my HubSpot um, extension in here, and I can be able to use it inside of my Gmail account. So when I go back to my contact details, as you can see now, I can be able to send emails to my contacts directly inside of HubSpot. So that is how to connect email inside of HubSpot, and that is also how to download your extension inside of HubSpot. Okay, now so to see how this extension work inside of my Gmail, this HubSpot extension, as you can see, it has added it in here, and it is saying that for me to use this extension, I need to turn it on. So I'm going to click on turn on here. So if I try to pick any of this email, and I can be able to add that particular person inside of HubSpot. So let's say I want to pick a random person. So let me just use someone random. Okay, so the email just came in. So I sent an email to myself. And as you can see, let's say Emma Glory actually sent us an email, and we want to be able to log Emma Glory inside of our HubSpot account. So I'm going to click on in here, and I'm going to select. Now I want to actually log Emma Glory as a contact inside of HubSpot. And as you can see, it actually showed it as contact, and I'm going to click on this place here, and I can be able to save this, and it is going to log Emma Glory inside of HubSpot. So if I click on refresh in here and I try to refresh this page, I can be able to see that that email has been logged inside of HubSpot. And as you can see, I already have this person inside of my HubSpot account, and you can be able to see the contact they're associated with. You can see the contract associated with. You can see the number of deals that they have. You can see everything, even the tickets. You can see meetings that they have with you. You can see the campaigns they are currently in, and all of these can be shown directly from your Gmail account. So the same thing applies if you want to be able to add multiple contacts inside of HubSpot. So now that we can be able to send email inside of HubSpot, another thing we also want to see is we want to be able to set up a subscription type inside of HubSpot. Now, before we start sending out emails, we want to make sure that all of the subscription types we are using in HubSpot is compatible with our business. So if you try to go back to the settings also, so we're going to go to the marketing section, and we're going to click on email, and we can be able to set up the subscription type inside of HubSpot. So when we go to subscription type in here, we can be able to see that we have different subscription type. We have one-on-one. We also have the marketing information email, where we can be able to send marketing offers and updates. You can create another subscription type. So instead of sending out emails under one umbrella, you can be able to send emails, based on different things. So we can say that I want to create a subscription type for product updates. And we can say that if anybody subscribes to product updates, we can be able to send emails that are actually under the subscription type, and we can be able to send it to them. So we can add in a description in here, and we can say this is for product updates inside of our HubSpot account. You can also be able to choose the different process, whether it is sales or marketing. So we are going to use marketing, and you can also be able to choose the mode of operation. Mode of communication. You can be able to use email, and as you can see, it is a marketing email slash product update. You can be able to create for newsletters. You can be able to create for blog posts. You can be able to create for different things that you actually send email about inside of HubSpot. So you can add in the language, and then you can click on create, and this is going to create your subscription type also. After you've added in your subscription type, this allows you to be able to connect a particular marketing email to a particular type of subscription type you have inside of HubSpot. So when you are done with that, you can create another subscription type if you want. And also you can enable double opt-in. So double opt-in just allows us to be able to send a confirmation email to the contact after they have submitted a form with us. So you can say that you want to allow contact to be able to confirm their email address after they've submitted the form. So let's say we've created a form in this HubSpot account and we want to be able to allow someone to confirm their email address. We can be able to set up the double opt-in so that when they fill in the form, they are being sent a confirmation email and they can click on the accept before they can be added to our list. So this just allows us to be able to make sure that our list is very clean and we are not just collecting emails that are spam emails. And it also allows engagement. It improves engagement a lot. But most people do not like turning this up on because it is actually kind of let me say it is kind of complex for contact, especially if they are coming in for the first time. People do not really realize that they need to confirm their email address first because they might not actually see their inbox. So most people do not actually turn this on and they just leave it the way they just leave it the way it is and they just allow people to be able to fill out the form and they come in directly to HubSpot. But most times when you want to have a very clean list, I would actually advise you actually turn the double opt-in. As you can see, it said it allow the contact to be able to receive email communication after the initial sign up. So if they sign up through a form, they are prompted to actually sign up through the confirmation email again so that they can be able to confirm their email address. So to set up your double opt-in, you can be able to pick the particular language you are using. We use English, so I'm going to select English and I can click on save and continue. And now this is the email that is going to be sent to the contact after they filled out our form. So if they fill out our form, this is the email that is going to be sent to them. I can decide to publish and continue, or I can decide to edit this email and I can be able to change this particular email to fit in to what I actually want for my double opt-in email. So as you can see here, it is saying I first name, you are almost done. Click on the confirm below to confirm your subscription. You can edit this actually and you can write in whatever it is you want for your own business. And as you can see here, it is allowing us to be able to confirm to this particular contact. So when I click on confirm, when they click on confirm, they can then be able to be added to our list. So if you go back in here, you can then be able to preview this or you can be able to edit it. After you've made all of your changes, you can click on publish and continue, and that is going to publish that page and you can be able to continue this. So you can be able to create a confirmation page for yourself and you can say that, you know what, after they've actually submitted this form, we want to take them to this particular place. Or you can say you want to take them to the home, or you want to even add your own page and you can be able to add them in there. You can also edit this actually. You can edit this page and you can set it up however you want inside of your own HubSpot account. So when you set this up however you want, you can then be able to allow them come to this page after they have been able to subscribe to after they've been able to confirm their own email, or you can use the default one that we currently have and you can click on save and continue. And you can also say that you want to send a follow-up email after they have confirmed their email. So whether it is a welcome email or it is an acknowledgement email, and you want to say that thank you so much for confirming your email, thank you so much for joining our community, or thank you so much for joining CRM instructors. We are happy to have you here, blah, 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 blah. You can include that inside of this email and it can send out as a follow-up email after they've already verified their email address. So you can use a follow-up email and you can also be able to edit this follow-up email and you can preview it, you can edit it however you want, and you can click on publish and continue after editing. And as you can see here, this is how it is going to look like. So they first receive the confirmation email, which is going to take them to the confirmation page, and a follow-up email is going to be sent to them. So you can also decide you want to activate later or you want to activate now. If you click on activate now, you can be able to activate this immediately, or you can say that okay, we want to activate later, and it is going to be you can be able to come back in here. So you can be able to come back in here and customize your double opt-in again and activate it. So that is for your double opt-in. Another thing I want to mention is that email marketing in HubSpot is kind of strict, and that is because sometimes they actually know that you are getting emails directly from different places. And HubSpot categorically mentioned that if you are getting email directly from maybe one-on-one emails, that does not automatically mean that you can be able to send out marketing emails to those contacts inside of HubSpot. So that means they must have actually filled out your form, and they must have given you consent to be able to send them marketing email before you start sending out emails to them inside of HubSpot. And another thing I forgot to mention is that inside of HubSpot, there are two types of contacts inside of HubSpot. So there are marketing contacts and there are non-marketing contacts. So marketing contacts allows you, or let me say, marketing contacts are contacts that you can be able to send marketing emails to. So you can send campaigns to them, you can send newsletters to them, you can be able to send blog post emails to them. You can be able to send any type of marketing emails to them. But non-marketing contacts, you cannot be able to send marketing emails to them. You can just have them as a contact inside of your HubSpot account, but you can be able to send one-on-one emails to them. So that is the difference between marketing contacts and non-marketing contacts. You can be able to send emails, one-on-one emails to non-marketing contacts, but you cannot send them marketing emails inside of HubSpot. So another setting we want to see is how to set up our footer address inside of HubSpot. So if I go back to my settings page, so let's go back to settings. If I go back to my email settings and I go to my footer page in here, I can see that this is my primary address, and this is the address that is going to be showing up inside of your email address footer. So you can be able to add different address, and you can be able to use it in the different types of email you have. And this is actually important because you want to be able to add the address for wherever you're sending the emails from. So you can be able to add the address, the city, the country. You can be able to add the footer name if you want. And also, if you have any address already inside of HubSpot, you can edit that and you can change it to however you want. And as you can see, this is named as primary, and you can be able to update when you are done. So that is for your footer address. So these are the main important settings you also want to do inside of HubSpot before you can start sending out emails inside of HubSpot. Okay, so now that the settings has been done, it is possible that you are getting contacts from different places. You can be getting contacts from forms, you can be getting from landing pages, you can be getting contact from different places inside of HubSpot. But in email marketing in HubSpot, the primary place that we are going to be getting contact from is going to be our forms. Now, to set up a form, you are going to go back into your CRM in here. If you go to marketing in here, you can be able to go to forms, and you can be able to set up your forms. So you can be able to set up different kind of forms, and when you click on create form here, you can see the form builder that they have the form editor and the legacy form builder. You can choose whichever one you want and set up your forms. So when you pick the form editor or whichever one you want to use, you can then click on next. You can see all of the templates HubSpot has in here, and you can be able to use all of these templates if you want, or you can start from blank if you want. So I'm going to be selecting a template, and when I pick that template in here, I can use this template. So as you can see, this template is actually having two stages. We have the stage one where we are asking for their first name, their last name, and their email. And the second stage is asking for their phone, the company name, and the job title. So if I want to be able to change anything, I just click on the particular feed in here, and I can be able to change the label. The label is what is going to be showing on the form. So instead of using first name, I can ask questions like, what is your first name? Or I can say your first name, or I can ask, what is your parents' first name, or your mother's first name, or your father's first name, if you're sending out forms to students, or whatever form you're trying to create inside of HubSpot. So after editing everything you need to edit, you are going to see in here that this is going to be your thank you page after they have submitted the form. So instead of using this, you can be able to change all of these, and you can say thank you so much for submitting, or you can add in whatever text it is you want to add here. You can change the font, you can change all of these. You can be able to click on this, and you can be able to change the email image. You can be able to change the button color, or whatever it is you want. So when you are done, you can be able to see the different settings in here. And if you also want to add fields, you can be able to add the different fields that you have. You can also add in properties if you want. You can be able to create different forms, and you can be able to create different fields from maybe the contact or from the company. Even if you want to create tickets details, you can also be able to do that inside of this place. So if you click on this place, you can be able to say that, okay, you also want to ask for their street address, or you want to also ask for the city. All you need to do is just to drag and drop this inside of this place. or if you want to drag and drop inside of the second page, you can also do that in here. And as you can see, it has added the street address feed inside of this space. So I'm going to click on save, and as you can see, I can click on save in here to save all of my changes. So another thing is that we will be changing the name of this form, and we're going to be changing it to contact us form. And also, if I come over to my content in here, I can be able to see all of the content I have for this particular page. And if I click on any one of them, I can be able to edit each and every one of them. So if I go back to form contact and I click on the progress bar, I can be able to edit my progress bar if I want. If I come over here also, I can be able to create different logic for this particular form. I already explained how to create from scratch, so you can check this video up here. I went into deep detail on how to set up a form inside of HubSpot. It was actually very detailed. I think it was like more than 15 minutes. So, but I'm just going to be brushing it through here. So you can be able to change the colors inside of this place, and you can be able to optimize your form, and you can also decide to add automations to your form, whereby you can be able to say that, okay, I want to send an email immediately after someone fills out this form. Remember that this form, you can also embed it on your website. If you have a website where you want to be collecting data, or if you want to be able to collect newsletter contacts inside of your HubSpot account, you can create a simple form, and you can allow people to be able to fill out that form if they want to receive newsletter from you. This is actually very, very important, especially since form is the most basic lead generation tool inside of HubSpot. You want to make sure that you actually set this up right. So when you are done, you want to click on review and update, and this is going to review your form. And as you can see here, you can add to a marketing campaign if you want. We'll be seeing how to create marketing campaign in a different video, not this one actually. And you can be able to set up workflows for this form if you want. So let's say we want to set up a simple workflow. You can say that you want to set all of the new contacts coming from this place as a marketing contact. And remember that marketing contact is going to add to the number of contacts you have from HubSpot. And if you get to the limit of marketing contacts, you will have to pay for the extra contacts you are going to be bringing in. So that is something you also want to take note of. You can create another automation in here where you can say that, you know what, when anybody fill out this form, maybe you want to send emails to them, or you want to send emails to the people inside of the organization, you can be able to choose whatever email you have created inside of HubSpot, and you can send it out. So we'll be seeing how to create email also in a minute. So when you are done with the automation, you can then click on review and update, and you can also update this form if you want. So you can be able to see that on the submit action, we are sending a thank you message, and you can be able to see the automation that is turned on, and you can be able to see the ones that are turned off, and then you click on update. When you click on update, it is going to take you to this place where you can be able to embed your form on your website. So you can be able to embed inside of HubSpot CTAs, or you can embed through maybe the landing pages you have, or the website pages you have, or whatever it is. Or you can just say that you just want to get the link of the form. So you can copy the link, and you can be able to paste this link inside of your emails. You can paste it on your website through a button. You can be able to add it wherever you want. And when people fill out this form, whenever they are filling this form out, it is going to go inside of HubSpot. You can also see this video up here where I actually explained how to embed your form on your website. So if you're using WordPress, if you're using Wix, you're using whatever website builder or wherever, so far you need the embed code, you can be able to embed on your website. So the video is up here on how to do that. So if you come over also, so if you go back to your form in here, and as you can see, you can also view your submissions, whereby if people are filling out this form, you can be able to view the number of people that are filling out the form. You can be able to view different things where they are filling from, and all of those things. So if you come to performance in here, you can be able to see for the last 30 days how many views are your form is your form getting. You can see the conversion rate. You can also see the number of submissions that is coming inside of your form. Like I said, the form is the primary place, or is the primary lead generation tool inside of HubSpot. So you can start with the forms to start getting contact inside of your HubSpot account. So after you start getting contact, or let's say you already have contacts in different places and you want to bring them inside of HubSpot, you can go back to your contacts in here, and you can be able to import all of the contacts that you currently have inside of HubSpot. Okay, so at this particular point, I am going to mention that if you are not subscribed to this channel, you are actually making a very huge mistake. we actually have different CRM and email marketing courses for your business to elevate and move your business forward. I'm very sure you want to generate more revenue for your business, and the perfect way to be able to generate more revenue for your business is to be able to track the different processes inside of your business. And what is the better way for you to track the different processes in your business if not by using a CRM? And that is why we have different courses, we have different tutorials to make sure that you as a business owner actually take charge of your CRM and maximize the use of your CRM. If you are paying for HubSpot, whether professional plan, whether enterprise plan, we want to make sure that you are using HubSpot to the maximum level. And that is why we are available for you. If you need help in setting up your HubSpot account, you can book your free discovery call. The link is in the description below, and also subscribe to this channel. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so I already have this list inside of this place. So let's say you want to copy the list from your website, or you want to copy it from wherever you've been getting details from over the years. You can be able to import this list inside of your HubSpot account. So as you can see in this list, we have the first name, we have the last name, we have the email, we have the phone address, and all of this inside of this particular list. So one thing you want to make sure to do is that every of the details on this form, every of this column in here, you want to make sure that you actually create the custom field for that if it does not exist already inside of HubSpot. So what that means is that if we do not have job title inside of HubSpot, you want to create that custom field, or we want to create that property inside of HubSpot. So to create that, you are going to come back to HubSpot, and you're going to click on this settings icon here, and you are going to look for properties. And when you click on properties in here, you can be able to create properties for contact, you can create properties for deals, for tickets, for whatever it is you are creating for. And this allows us to be able to collect information about a particular contact. So let's say you're a real estate company, you can be able to collect details about their budget, about their dream location, or about the apartment they want to get. You can be able to create different custom fields. So the custom property just, or the contact property, allows us to be able to collect different details about a particular contact. As you can see here, HubSpot already has a lot of contact properties created for us. You can be able to click on each of them, and you can be able to edit it if you want, or you can create a new one. And we have different type of contact properties we can create. We have the single line, where we can be able to ask for simple things like their first name, their contact name, their dad's name, their mom's name, or we can be able to ask the services they are interested in. To do that, you need to use the single line, so they can be able to write on a single line for the single line test. But if you're asking for something like notes, or you're asking for maybe you want to ask for their goals and aspirations, or you want to ask for the challenges that they're facing in their business, and you need them to be able to write in paragraphs, and that is when you are going to be using the multi-line test. The number text actually allows us to be able to send different type of numbers, with formatted numbers, unformatted numbers. We can use currency, so that we can be able to ask them maybe for their annual revenue, or we can be able to ask for their budget. And when you use the currency, you can be able to create that field to ask different currency questions. And you can also see the percentage, where you can be able to ask percentage questions. After number, you can say you want to use the single checkbox, and this allows you to be able to ask a question where they can be able to use the checkbox. As I was talking about the consent before, this is the particular field you can create for that. So you can say that, do you want to receive newsletters from CRM instructors? You can create that as a single checkbox, and they can be able to click on that checkbox. And when they click on that checkbox, that means they are agreeing, or they are saying true. But if they do not click on the checkbox, that means they are saying false. So if you're going to be using multi-checkbox, you can be able to use multiple checkbox, and this allows you to be able to create different options, and they can be able to pick multiple of them. So we can ask for maybe the services they are interested in, if they are interested in CRM audit, if they are interested in email marketing, if they are interested in CRM training. They can be able to pick more than one. So also, if you go also here to the radio select, the radio select is different from the multiple checkbox, because the radio select allows us to be able to pick only one option. Maybe we want to ask for the type of CRM they are using, whether they are using Zoho CRM or they are using HubSpot CRM, and they can be able to pick only one option out of the options you have listed out. And the radio select is just going to list out every of the option as the radio button for every of the options. So we also have the drop down select, which is going to drop down all of the option. It is also like the radio select, but it is a drop down option. So for the rich text, after the drop down section, after the drop down select, we have the rich text, and it allows us to be able to also add in text, but it can be formatted text where we can be able to bold in some things. We can add images. It is like a more comprehensive type of multi-line text. So you can use this if you want to create something like maybe a description for the person and you want to add images, or you want to add different formatted text inside of this particular place. We have the phone number from the name. Phone number just allows us to be able to ask for different phone numbers inside of HubSpot. We also have the date and time picker where we can be able to ask for the best time they will be available for the meeting. We can ask for proposal date and time, all of those questions. We also have date picker. Date picker and date and time picker are actually different. The date picker just allows us to be able to ask for dates, and the date and time allow us to be able to ask for dates and also time at the same time. So we can say on the 10th of January at 2 p.m. or on the 10th of June at 2 a.m. That is for date and time. So for calculation, we can be able to calculate different things. We can calculate the age. We can be able to calculate different things inside of HubSpot. You can also use the different properties. You can use the different functions, but you can calculate currency. You can calculate percentage. You can calculate duration. All of this can be done by using the calculation field type. So the roll up actually allows us to be able to calculate for the different property inside of HubSpot. So we can be able to calculate for the different associated we can be able to calculate for the different associated record type. So we can say that we want to be able to calculate the number of companies that this particular contact is in, or we can say that, we want to calculate for the number of deals, to calculate the number of deal amount inside of HubSpot. So we can be able to say that the total money spent with us by this particular contact is a sum of every of the money or every of the deal that has been won for this particular deal. So that is for roll up. Another type that we have is the property sync, where we can be able to sync a particular property from the company tab, or we can sync from the ticket tab. It just allows us to be able to view a particular thing from the different associated record that we have. So after property sync, we have file, where we can be able to allow people to be able to upload files inside of HubSpot, whether PNG, PDF, or whatever it is. You can also see here that way you can be able to add HubSpot users, and we can create different property label like salespeople. We can say contact owner. We can say salesperson, or we can say managed by. It just allows us to be able to add an HubSpot user for this particular property or for this particular field. After HubSpot user, we have URL, where we can ask for their website link. We can ask for the link to an image. We can ask for the link to anything. We can also see the email, where we can be able to ask for their secondary email, and we can ask for their parents' email. We can ask for the student's email, or we can ask for their employee email or their manager's email. So that is for all of the properties inside of HubSpot. I need to make sure that all of this has already been created inside of HubSpot. So the only thing I'm going to be bringing in here that I know it's currently not in HubSpot is my service interest. And that is because service interest was not created by HubSpot. So I'm going to go back in here. I want to use a single line text, and I want to name this as service interest. I can also decide to allow the data agent to research and fill this particular property for me, but I do not want that. So I'm going to take that off, and I can also decide to require unique value for this property. Since they are going to be the same thing for different contacts, I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to click on create property. And when I click on create property, that is going to create my service interest. Another one I want to also be able to look at is when I go back to this place and I see my life cycle stage. We should have life cycle stage inside of HubSpot, but I also want to make sure that the options I have inside of this sheet is the same thing as the one I have inside of HubSpot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for life cycle stage. And as you can see, we have life cycle stage inside of this place. And you can see that the feed type is radio select, where we can only be able to select one. We have lead, we have customer. So if I come over here, I think we should have lead. We have opportunity. So let me copy that. I think we only have lead and opportunity. Oh, we have customer. Okay, so we also have opportunity in here, so we do not need to worry to bring that in. So you just want to make sure that for everyone you are bringing in, everyone actually has all of these inside of HubSpot. You also do the same thing for lead status. And for lead status, we have all of these options. I want to make sure that all of these options are actually inside of your HubSpot account. So you're going to go back in here also. So let's cancel this and we can look for status, which is also lead status. So lead status is also a radio select. So we have all of these options. If all of these options do not correctly align to the ones you have inside of your sheet, you want to make sure they align. So we have qualified, we have closed one, and we have contacted. So I want to make sure that everyone is being brought inside of my HubSpot account. So I'm going to go over to this place. Instead of using bad timing, I'm going to change this to closed one. So you can add in another option in here, and you can want to add in qualified because we do not have qualified, and we have new, we have opened, we have qualified, we have contacted. So instead of using connected, we are going to change this to contacted. So after making sure that all of this option has been done, you want to click on save, and that is going to save your lead status field. And now to import all of this contact inside of HubSpot, we are going to go inside of this place, and we are going to go back to our contact, and we are going to see that instead of creating a new contact and creating contacts one by one, we can be able to import contacts inside of this place. So if we want to import, we just click on import data here. And if you have any app you want to connect to, so let's say you want to connect from whichever app you are allowed to connect from. If you want to connect from Gmail, from WordPress, from Google Ads, you can be able to do that inside of this place. We're going to be using import data here, and as you can see, it is asking us now what exactly are we importing inside of HubSpot. So it is asking, are we importing contact only, or are we importing other advanced imports like contacts and other associated objects? So we are going to be saying we are using the advanced import, and that is because we want to be able to import contacts and companies. If you have a spreadsheet that has the companies, the contacts, the deals, you can be able to import all of this together. And I think this is one of the amazing things we have about HubSpot. I can be able to import contacts and companies and deals, and all of them can be associated together inside of my HubSpot account. So that means if I'm creating contacts and companies together, I do not need to separately create my deals. I can create all of them together, and I do not need to manually start associating each deal to each contact. I'm importing only contacts and companies, and I'm going to go back to my sheet in here, and I'm going to download the sheet. Remember that you can be able to download in CSV format or the Microsoft Excel format. So we are going to be using the CSV format, and we are going to click on download. And when you click on download in here, you can see your file in here. And if you go back to your import here, you can be able to click on next. And when you click on next, you can be able to say, you know what, for every of the new contacts we want to import, we want to make sure that we create and update existing contacts. Or you can even decide that you want to only create new contacts only. Or you can say you want to only update existing contacts if you want. But the most advisable thing I want you to do is to use the create and update. And that is because if there is a new contact on the file, you can be able to create them as a new contact. And if there's an existing contact on the file, you want to be able to update all of those contacts. So the same thing applies for companies, and you can also be able to bring in multiple files. So if you have multiple Excel files you want to import at the same time, you can be able to do that by using the multiple files inside of this place. So we are using one file, so we are using single file, and we can be able to choose the file we want to import. And I'm going to be picking that from my download here, and this is the file in here. So I'm going to click on open, and that is going to open my file, and I'm going to click on next. So when I click on next, it is going to take me to this particular place where I can be able to create and update my existing records. So as you can see, all of this has been mapped, and you want to make sure that first name is mapped to first name, and you want to make sure that last name is mapped to last name, and make sure that everything inside of this place is mapped to the appropriate place. Please, you want to make sure that this is mapped correctly. Imagine first name being mapped to last name. You can imagine what kind of confusion that is going to cause. But we do not want that. We want to make sure that each of these are mapped correctly. So when you click on next in here, it is going to take you to this place where you can be able to create a segment if you want. And a segment just means that we can be able to create a list for this particular import we are bringing in. If you want to create a new segment, you can create a new segment and you can be able to name that segment another thing. So we are going to say that these leads are coming in from our website, and I want to name this as website leads. So you can also be able to enrich the records. So that means you can enrich your contacts and your companies, and HubSpot can be able to fill in the missing data for you, and you can also track the signals if you want. So I also want to fill in the legal basis. They've freely given consent from contact. That means they've given us the consent to message them, or they've given us the consent to send marketing emails to them. So we are going to say that they've actually given us consent. So we are going to finish this import. And when I click on finish import in here, this is going to import all of the new contacts inside of my HubSpot account. As you can see, new contacts, it has imported the 20 rows and 40 records has been brought in inside of HubSpot. And the reason we are having 40 records is because it is importing contacts and it is also importing companies. And as you can see, we have 20 new association inside of this place. So as you can see here, it is loading it in, and we can be able to see the contact that was brought in. We can also be able to see the number of contact that was brought in. That is still loading, so we can just wait a minute for it to finish loading. Okay, so now we can be able to see the companies, and you can see all of the name of the companies, and you can also see the contact that was associated with every of those companies. So that is how to import contacts inside of HubSpot. Another thing you want to be able to do inside of email marketing for HubSpot is that you want to make sure that you are segmenting each of your leads to different places. So what I mean is that it is possible that people are actually signing up to your HubSpot account and they are signing up for different things. So let's say people are signing in for newsletter. Some people are signing in for the free guide that you have created for your company, or some people are signing up from a different thing inside of your company. Now it will be a very bad habit for you to bring everyone inside of one list inside of your HubSpot account. You want to make sure that you are able to segment each of these leads into different buckets so that you are not sending out an email to the people that do not need it. So let's say someone signed up to us for CRM audits. Imagine instead of sending CRM audit emails, we are sending maybe CRM cleaning emails, or we are sending CRM optimization email instead of us just sending CRM audit emails. So segment allows us to be able to bring different leads inside different buckets inside of HubSpot. So to create new segments, I'm going to click on create segments in here, and I can create segments for my contacts, for my companies, for tickets, for contacts, for deals, and for others. So let's say I want to create for contacts, and I can use the AI to say that, you know what, help me create this particular set of people that are coming from a particular source. So I can say that I want to create a bucket for people that are interested in some of my service interest inside of this place. So I can say that I want to create a segment for people that are interested in CRM implementation, and I just need to come back to my segment and I can ask the AI to create that for me. So I have used my prompt in here, and that is going to help me create this particular list. So after adding in your prompt, you can then click on next. And when you click on next, the AI is going to help you create that. And as you can see, it is already finding the right filters we are going to be using for this particular list. Now, segment is also called list. It was formerly called list inside of HubSpot, but HubSpot recently changed it to segments. So as you can see, the AI actually found service interest contains any of CRM implementation. We can also decide to edit the prompt if you want, and you can also decide to say that, you know what, okay, let's add this filter. And when you add the filter, if you do not want that filter also, you can be able to edit it. So you can also do this for the different custom fields you have created inside of HubSpot, and you can say you want to be able to create based on these things that you have added. You can also decide that you want to add based on this group also, and you want to add another filter. You can say if they have all of these, and maybe the lead source is from Instagram or the lead source is from form, you can be able to add another filter for that. We can say we want to be able to check and their lead status is any of, if it is new or if it is open. So if it is new or open, HubSpot is going to help you look for the number of contacts that are fitting in all of this criteria. Another thing about HubSpot is that if you're adding another filter, you want to make sure that you're using the and or you're using the or. So that means if we're using and, we are saying that both of these must be fulfilled before this condition is met. And if we're using or, we are saying that any of these two can be fulfilled. So we can say if the service interest is any of these, or the lead status is any of these. And as you can see, the number fulfilling any one of these is 11. And you can see that it is 44% of our database. So after making sure that you have added in all of the filters you want to use, you can also decide to exclude a set of contacts if you want. So if there are particular contacts you do not want to send emails, or there are particular contacts you do not want to add to this list, you can just choose the segment you want to use. So we can say that, you know what, for everyone that we're adding to this list, we do not want to add in unsubscribed emails. And that is because anyone that is unsubscribing should not be receiving emails from us. If you want to use, if you do not want to use segments, you can use a particular contact. You can say that, oh, we do not want to add Sophia Hill to this particular set of people because Sophia mentioned that she does not want to receive email from us. So we can take Sophia away from that list. Another thing to note is that after you set up all of this, I would advise that you actually change the name to the particular thing you are using. This allows you to be able to track the particular thing you are tracking for each of the segments. So for instance, we can say that these are CRM audit or implementation leads. So I can be able to change the name to CRM audit or implementation leads. And when I'm done, I can be able to save that. And when I'm done, I can also be able to click on next. And it is going to ask me if this is going to be an active list or if this is going to be a static list. Now, the difference between active and static list is that for active list, we can be able to make sure that whenever we create all of this criteria that we've done, active list is going to generate in real time. So that means if any other contact is coming in and they are fulfilling any of this criteria, it is going to automatically add them to that list. Even if we do not do anything, we do not need to change anything, we do not need to manually add them inside of the list before they are automatically added to the list. So that is the meaning of active list. So for active list, it is automated. While static list just means that we can be able to do this at this particular time. So that means every of the contacts fulfilling this condition today are the people that are going to be added to this list. So if anyone comes in tomorrow, they will not be added to this list because it is a static list. This list is staying in one place. It is staying in a particular time, which is today when we create this list. So we can also decide to create a campaign if you want. You can decide to add to a marketing campaign. And when you are done, you click on save and process segments. Because this is a static list, it is going to process this segment and everyone is going to be static. That means everyone inside of this list will not be updated even if we create a new contact tomorrow and they are fulfilling all of these conditions that we've added inside of this place. So as you can see, we have 11 people inside of this. You can also decide to edit. You can decide to clone this particular segment. You can decide to add to a folder and you can do the however you want. So if you go back to segments in here, you can be able to see the new segments we just created for this particular contact. This was our website leads that we actually imported, and as you can see, that was also a static contact. If you want to do an active contact, you can just say that you want to be able to go through the same thing we just did and create an active contact for everyone coming in inside of the organization. So email marketing inside of HubSpot is actually very technical, but at the same time is actually easy to use. In as much as almost everyone use HubSpot as a CRM, I still believe that email marketing inside of HubSpot is actually great. I've seen people that are using HubSpot and they are signing up for MailChimp, and I'm like, but HubSpot can actually do the same thing you are signing up for MailChimp for. Like, why are you signing up for MailChimp when you can be able to create newsletters, you can be able to create campaigns inside of HubSpot? Like, I see it as a wastage of money and resources because all of the things you are signing up for inside of MailChimp is actually available inside of HubSpot, if not more than. And that is why I'm going through this lesson for you, so you can be able to see all of the email marketing features we can find inside of HubSpot. So now that we understand how to set up our list, if you come back into this place here and we click on email, this is the particular place we are going to be sending out emails to people inside of our organization. Now, before we do this, it is very important to also note that we can be able to send one-on-one emails to people in our organization. So if I click on Olivia here, I can be able to click on this email in here and I can be able to send emails to Olivia. So I can be able to add the subscription type to set the legal basis for this particular contact, and I can say that this particular contact actually gave us consent to send them emails. When I click on save, that will allow me now to be able to save, and we can be able to send email to this particular contact. You must be able to give consent first before you can be able to send emails to this contact. So for Olivia Ross, we can be able to create an email directly to Olivia. So the same thing applies for every of the contacts you have inside of your organization. If you've given the consent already, you can be able to send them email directly. Another thing we want to look at also is that if you are sending multiple emails at the same time, it is important to note things like templates. And if you come over here to message templates, you can be able to create different templates inside of HubSpot. And as you can see here, you can start from scratch. You can also start with the template that they currently have inside of HubSpot. They also have WhatsApp templates, and that means you can be able to connect your own WhatsApp number, and you can be able to use WhatsApp directly inside of HubSpot. Yes, that is actually possible. So if you go back to email in here, you can be able to see where you can be able to get started with email templates. And as you can see, they have various email templates you can be able to pick from, and you can be able to use. So I can be able to select these, and I can be able to select all of the template I want to use. So let's say I want to select, okay, I can only select 3. So I'm just going to save my selection, and that is going to save all of my templates in here. If I want to create a new template and I want to start from scratch in here, I just need to type in the template name, and I can be able to also type in the subject line of this email, and I can be able to add in all of the copy of the email if I want. So if you have different teams inside of your organization and they are sending the same email almost every time, it is actually advisable that you create email templates for all of this. So maybe if the new contact is coming in, you can have an onboarding email, you can have a follow-up email, you can have maybe the proposal email to send proposal, or you can have the different follow-up email that you have maybe for day 1, for day 3, for day 5. You can be able to switch this up however you want, and you can be able to add the copy of the email in here. So let me get a copy from ChatGPT. Okay, so I can add in the name of this particular email template. I can add the subject line also, and I can say maybe the subject line is maybe just checking in, and we can name this follow-up email, and then we can add the body of this email. So we can be able to use you can be able to write in the copy however you want, and you can be able to add in your own name, and you can also be able to use your default address if you want. That means your email address. So if you click on manage email signature in here, you can be able to add your own email signature. And when I paste this in, I can be able to use this for every of the emails I'm going to be sending out inside of HubSpot. And if I come over to my message in here, and I can be able to use this default signature, it is going to be included inside of this email. And if you want to change this first name in here, you can be able to say I, then you insert the first name inside of this place. So you can insert this, and you can insert the personalization token. So you can say that I want to use the contact first name, and when you do that, you can click on insert, and it is going to insert the first name. If you also want to insert the first name in the subject line, you just need to say just checking in, and you add in a comma, and you can be able to click on insert here, and you can be able to insert a personalized token also, and you can add in first name, and you can add in a fallback value. So the fallback value just means that if there is no first name for this particular contact, what do we actually add for this? So we can say I first name, or we can say I client. I clients is actually very weird, but I'm just going to add that in. So we can say I customer, I client, or a dear, or hi dear, whatever it is you want to use. And you click on insert, and that is going to insert the fallback value. And now we can be able to see that that has been added in inside of this place. So after making all of those adjustments, you can then add in the, okay, we've added in the name. You can also select a folder for this particular template. So you can say you want to use the no folder, or you can create a folder first, and you can be able to add this email template to the folder. So the folder just allows you to be able to segment different email templates in one place. So it is possible that I want to be able to create for sales team, want to be able to create for onboarding team, for customer success. Every of these emails that you are going to be using can be added inside of one particular folder. We can also decide I want to share this template with everyone, or if you want to be the only one to use this template, you can say that you only want to make this private and only you can be able to use this template, or only you can be able to view and use it inside of HubSpot. But I want to share with everyone, so I'm just going to click on save template in here, and that is going to save my particular template for this HubSpot account. If you want to add in another folder, you can do that here. You can also create a new folder if you want. So now if I go back to my contacts, I can now be able to add that email template I just added for Olivia. So if I go back to Olivia again, I can now be able to send email to Olivia, and I can be able to use that particular template I just created. And if I click on template in here, I can be able to select whichever template I want to use. And when I click on select, it is going to select that particular template for Olivia, and I can be able to send this particular message to Olivia. And as you can see, it has also added in my signature automatically. That was because my signature was already added inside of HubSpot. So that is how to actually do the one-on-one email. Now, if you want to see how to send marketing email inside of HubSpot, we can be able to go back to marketing, and under marketing, you are going to click on email. And when you click on email in here, this is where we are going to be sending out campaigns, newsletter, blog post emails, and all of these emails, even automated emails inside of this place. So to create a new marketing email, you can click on create in here. But first, let's see if our template here. If you click on templates, you are going to see the different templates that HubSpot actually has to offer inside of your account. You can also decide that you do not want to apply CRM brand kits. That's because I already added my brand kits inside of HubSpot. If you want to see how I added my brand kit, you can be able to check this video up here. I explained exactly how you can be able to do that inside of HubSpot. But we do not want to apply it. It's not nice at all. So you can see the different templates that they have. Now it's looking normal. So we can be able to select each of these, and we can be able to edit it for our own email template. And you can see the type of sending method. You can create for regular, you can create for automated. Now if you are creating for automated, that means you are creating emails for workflows. If you want to be able to send emails and you want it to be automated emails, and you do not want it to be maybe the regular sending emails, you can use the automated one. And if you want to use the regular, just use this one, and you can be able to pick whichever option you want. So to create an email, you just click on create email. So you can be able to pick whether it is regular, and like I said, regular is going to be sent immediately, or it can be scheduled. And if you want to if you want to create automated email is sent through automation. If you want to create a workflow for maybe when a new contact come in, or you want to create a workflow for maybe the contacted leads that are going cold, all of those workflows emails are going to be created through the automated email. Then the blog email is going to be an automated email also, but it is going to be able to share blog posts and RSS updates inside of HubSpot. So let's start with the regular one. Now to create the regular template, it is also showing the template I have in here. I can select whichever template I want, or I can create a new template. So let's just pick this nice one. So I'm going to use this template, and as you can see here, we can be able to edit this particular template to fit in for our own business. Now, since this is a regular email template, we can be able to add the subject line. We can add the preview text. Remember that the preview text is the one that is going to be showing below the subject line. So this is going to be a simple email, and I'm going to be adding the subject line in here. So I'm just going to add this here, and I can add in a preview text if I want. And I can also decide that I want to choose a from name. If you have any other HubSpot user, you can be able to use them inside of this email. So you can be able to select the particular user inside of this, and you can also decide to add in a form address. And that is because my domain is not yet added. That is why it is not showing up in here. If I authenticate my domain and my domain is already authenticated, it is going to show up inside of this place. The reason why this is showing up is because we already connected this inbox inside of HubSpot. So I'm just going to select this, and I can be able to use that as my reply to address. So that means I can change my reply to address if I want. So the reply to means that if anybody is replying to this email, we can be able to select another email address so that people can be able to reply to that particular email address instead of using this one. But if you want to use the same one, you can just leave that in here and just select this. So that means this email is also the one people are going to be replying to when they want to send a reply to this email. So as you can see also in here, you can be able to add different things inside of this email template. You can be able to add text, you can be able to add buttons, you can be able to add socials, HTML, and all of these things. I already explained how to create email templates in this video up here, and I went extensively deep on how to create this email template. But let me just skip through. You can add in text like maybe you want to add in a simple text where you can be able to edit the text and edit the um visibility and all. You can go back to content where you can be able to also add in a button. If you want to add in a button, you can do that. You can also add the URL to the button, and if you go back to the plus sign, you can be able to add a video. If you have a video you want to insert inside of your email, you can be able to add in a video URL if you want. And when you add in a video URL, or you can be able to select the video if you want. That means if you have the video already inside of HubSpot, you can be able to select that video and you can be able to bring that video inside of your email. Or if that video is actually a link, you can be able to copy the YouTube link and you can be able to paste it inside of this place. So after making sure that everything has been done for your email, you can be able to do all of the settings also. This is for each of the column inside of your email. So if you go back to content, you can be able to see the image, you can be able to edit it, you can be able to click it on each of this content inside of this place, each of this section, and you can be able to edit each of them. So you can also see the template design in here where you can add in the default, you can make it boxed, and box is just going to add in a border, and you can also make it simple if you want. So if you use the simple layout, this is how it's going to look like. I do not like the simple layout at all, so I'm going to use the boxed one. Yeah, so you can also see that this template is going to be for all devices. You can change the content color if you want. You can also change the border color if you want. So you can say that the border color should be red or whatever it is you want. Or you can also change the pattern. Instead of using background color, you can use a background pattern. I really do not like using background pattern, and that's because it's kind of weird. Maybe I'm just the one thinking that. See how this looks like, I don't know, it does not look nice. So I do not like pattern, but if you're a fan of pattern, you can actually use it. There's nothing wrong with it, but I cannot use this. It looks so, I don't know, it looks awkward. So I don't want to use this. So if I go back to design also, I can decide I want to use color, and I want to use maybe a simple color. I can just pick whatever color I want to use. Let this look very nice. So I can leave it this way. I can also decide that I want to change in my text. I want to change my heading text, my line text, my line heights, and all of this. And also, if you come over here, you can decide who you are sending this particular email to. So if you are sending it to a segment of contact, you can be able to pick through that. Or you can say that, you know what, I want to send this through an automation, and you can be able to send through an automation. So this is for the automated email actually. But we are sending to a segment of contact because we want to send to them immediately. So we are clicking to a segment of contact, and we are saying that subscription type is going to be the product update. So let's say we have a product update we want to send out to people. Remember that this subscription type was created at the beginning of this video. You can see here that it is compulsory because it allows us to be able to assign different subscription type of email to different emails that are being sent out. You can also decide who you are sending this particular email to. So we can say that we want to send to CRM audit and implementation leads, and that is the segment we just recently created. And we can say that we do not want to send to a particular set of people. So if there are people you do not want to send this particular email to, you can just say that do not send to these people. And HubSpot is going to check in for all of the people that are in this particular segment, and HubSpot is not going to send out this segment email to this particular segment. So you can also decide to pick individual contacts if you want. You can say that, okay, I don't want to send to Eva, or I don't want to send to Lucas. you can be able to add them individually, and HubSpot is not also going to send to them. So you can also decide that you do not want to send to unengaged contacts, and this will actually help you to protect your domain email. And if you click on here, you can be able to see those people that are called unengaged contacts. Okay, this should be 11 months ago and they've not opened any of the email. If you're okay with that, you can just go back inside of this place and you can decide not to send to unengaged contacts. So that is for the audience, and that is how to set those people you are going to be sending this email to. If you come over to your schedule also, you can decide that you want to send this email now or you want to send this email later. So we can say that, okay, this email should be sent on the 6th of August 2026, and we can be able to send this email. Let's say we want to send this at maybe 10 a.m. And we can also see in here that it is going to adapt to our account default time zone, or we can say that I want to use my own time zone if you want, or you want to use the recipient's time zone. So if you're using the recipient's time zone, you are going to be sending to them at this particular time, which is 10 a.m. In the contact time zone. So it is possible that you have different contacts coming from different places. HubSpot also help you track their time zone, so you can be able to send through their own time zone. So you can also adjust the send time if you want, or you can also decide that, you know what, I just want to send now. Send now is going to send out this email immediately. So if you review and send, it is going to send this out immediately, or you can use schedule later. Okay, so another thing you also want to do is the setup in here. You can be able to create a campaign from this email, but we do not want to do that actually. And you can see the internal name. Instead of using new email, let us say this is a welcome email. It is in English. We have the footer, yeah, the default. I want to also be able to track open and click so that we can be able to see everyone that is opening this email and everyone that is clicking on this email. Another thing you can also do is that you can automate, and you can say that if they reply to your email, you want to send another email to them. So as you can see, it automatically created an automation for us. And as you can see, if contact reply to this email, it is going to send this welcome email. You can also say if they click on a particular link in the email, we can then add them to a particular segment. You can also create a new workflow if you want. So you can say if they open the email, you want to maybe add a label or you want to add a tag. If they unsubscribe, you also want to change a custom property. You can do this however you want. Under the file, we can be able to clone this, and you can say that, you know what, I love the settings of this email, so I'm just going to save this as a new template. And if you click on save as new template, it is going to save this particular email as a template so that you can be able to come back to use this template inside of your CRM. Let's say you are creating emails for different people and you want to be able to save as email template, so you can be able to use that particular design for all of your emails. You can go through this particular route. And there's something I'm going to advise also. If you are creating emails, you want to make sure that you use one template all the time. Or let me say a variant of templates, but it is also very unique to your own brand, because it will not be nice if you are sending out emails every time and it is with different templates. You are using blue today, you are using red tomorrow. No, it is not going to work that way. If you take a look at how HubSpot themselves, how they send emails, you are going to see that they follow a particular brand all the time. And if you receive an email from them without even looking at the name, you're going to know that the email is from HubSpot, because their orange is always there. You can see their orange and white every time. So the same thing should apply for your own business. If you're going to be sending out email templates, you want to make sure that you are using your own brand color and your own brand fit. So when you click on save in here, that is going to save this email as a template. So the same thing applies if you want to export this email design, if you want to generate translated version from English to whatever it is you want. If you want to move to a folder, or if you want to delete it and all, you can also use the help to do all of this. If you are done, you want to review and schedule, and as you can see here, it is going to give you warning that there are some things in your email that are currently not working, and all of our links are, we have some links that we have not been able to do. It is going to ask you to actually do that first, yeah, before you actually schedule. It is very important that for every warning it is giving you, you actually solve that first. it is actually very, very important. And you can see the type of the email, you can see the from, you can see the from address, you can see the subject line, you can see the send to, you can see the do not send. You can also create a marketing campaign if you want. We'll be seeing that in another video. I already created a comprehensive video for campaigns, and that is because campaigns is actually much more comprehensive. And yeah, we're not going to be seeing it in this video. All of these are actually set up the way you want. You can then click on preview first to preview your email and see how your email is going to look like on the desktop and also on the phone. I always say and I always mention that it is very important to see how this is going to look like on your phone, because most people are going to open your emails from your phone. Yeah, so it is very important that you actually check in for that. So when you are done, you can also click on schedule, and when you click on schedule, this is going to ask you, do you want to schedule at this particular time on this particular date? And you can cancel it at any time if you want. So we are going to schedule this email, and when you click on schedule here, it is going to schedule your email to go out at this particular date. And as you can see, it already marked it as scheduled, and you can be able to edit your email inside of this place, and you can be able to send out this email. So that is how to create a regular email inside of HubSpot. The same thing applies if you want to do this for the automated email. If you want to send out for automated email, just click on create email here and click on automated, and you can be able to go through the same process. So we are going to be using our welcome email template, and we can be able to use this welcome email template, and we can name this let's say we want to name this follow-up email. So I will show you how to actually use this in the later part of this video. And you can also click on review and publish. Okay, I need to set in my subscription type. So I'm going to pick in marketing info. I'm just going to add in something simple for my subject line. So let me just add this here. Okay, so I'm going to click on review and publish, and as you can see, it is adding that suggestion again, and as you can see, it is automated this time around, and you can see the from, you can see everything inside of this place. Now, because it is automated, it is not going to show you that you can schedule or you can send immediately the way it asks for regular email, and that is because this one is going to be sent through an automation. It is going to be different. Click on publish, and this is going to help you publish your email template for this particular this particular email. And as you can see, it is asking me to choose whether I'm going to be sending this through workflows or I'm going to be sending this through forms. And I'm sending it, if I'm sending it through workflows, I can be able to pick an existing workflow, or I can create a new workflow from scratch. I'll be showing you how to do that in a minute, so I'll say I will do this later. And as you can see, my email has been created, my automated email has been created. And as you can see also in here that we named this follow-up email. If I want to edit this, I just come inside of this place and click on edit to edit my email. So now that we've seen how to create regular and automated email, another thing we can also do for email marketing in HubSpot is that we can be able to create sequence. Okay, so we can be able to create sequence inside of HubSpot, and we can say that we want to be able to send emails over time. So we can say that if a contact is coming in today, we want to be able to send emails to them over time. So we can say maybe we are going to send email one today, or we are going to send email, the next email can be 3 days later, the next email can be 2 days later, just that automated sequence over a period of time. That is how sequence actually work. And to create a sequence, you are going to come over to sales, and under sales you are going to see sequence over here, and you want to make sure that you know that sequence is actually under sales or professional. So sales or professional is $90. That is not really expensive like the marketing or professional. Marketing or professional, I just feel like marketing or professional is just too expensive. Like I don't know. I just feel very uncomfortable with marketing or professional. And I think this is a trap that people enter into most times, and they do not even realize that it is a trap, because we see people getting up spots. They start with the starter plan and they want to set up automations, and you just discover that automations is under the marketing or professional, and you try to like explain to them that, oh, you cannot set up automations, and that's because it is under the professional plan. And they're like, oh my God, are we going to pay $800? And I'm saying, yes, you are going to pay $800. And they are shocked. So this is one thing you actually want to um, take note of. So even if you're a freelancer and you have clients, or you're an agency owner and you have clients that are using HubSpot, you want to make sure to inform them of this, because we've seen this thing happen time and time again. We can't even count the number of migrations we've done for contacts, for customers or for clients that are moving from HubSpot to another CRM just because of this pricing plan. So the sales or professional is $90. So that is still affordable, kind of, yeah. So at least for a small business, it is still affordable. So if you go over here, we are going to be starting our 14-day trial, and that's because we want to be able to do that um for this particular video or this particular tutorial. So we are going to click on get started to sales or professional, and as you can see, my trial has started, and we can be able to see how to actually create the sequence. So when you click on create sequence in here, you can be able to create from scratch, or you can be able to create from a dynamic sequence. You can use the HubSpot recommended outreach. You can also use the template that they have different templates. For instance, we have this event follow-up. So for the event follow-up, you can say that maybe there was an event, maybe a webinar. You allow people come to your webinar, and by the end of the webinar, you want to create a sequence that is going to send um emails over a period of time. So as you can see, the first thing you can be able to see in here is that we have 6 steps, and the first thing he did was to send email on the one. So that means immediately this contact is being enrolled to a particular sequence, we can be able to send email one. So email one is going to go out. Then we can say that there is no delay. Immediately that is sent, we want to create a general task. So general task allows us to be able to connect with them on LinkedIn. So after that, we have the next email being sent in day 4. So it's another follow-up email. And as you can see here, we have the call task that is sent after 4 business days. Then we have the manual task where it is allowing us to send a follow-up email. Now, manual task is actually different from general task. General task is just like the normal task. You can create that task, and it is going to send in reminders for you to be able to complete that task for this particular contact. But for manual tasks, you can create tasks in such a way that you can be able to say that this task is to allow us to send emails, and you can add in the copy of that email. And in the manual task, you can be able to edit that particular email. So that means if that task is being created, it is going to add in the copy of that email. So you can be able to edit that email however you want before you actually send it out. And the manual task is actually very good if you want to be able to send personalized email to each of the contacts. So let's say, for instance, if people are coming in after 6 business days, we can be able to add in the copy of that email. So when it gets to this particular place, you can be able to say, oh, hi, John, we had a meeting with you on this particular time. I just want to reach out to you. You can mention their particular thing. You can mention what you discussed with them personally. You can be able to mention multiple things. It's unlike the general email that you send to everyone. So let us create a new sequence from scratch. And as you can see, they have different templates you can be able to do. You can re-engage code. I wanted to say suspect. You can be able to re-engage code suspect. Sorry, you can be able to engage code prospects. Prospects, not suspects. You can be able to reschedule meetings. You can be able to do the sequence for unable to connect. You can create sequences for different things inside of HubSpot. So let me create from scratch so I can show you how to actually do this. So as you can see here, this is the preview of this, and we can start from whichever one you want. So let's say you want to start from automated sequence, or you can want to start from manual sequence. You can start with whichever one you want. So we're going to click on create sequence, and as you can see, it took me to this place where I can be able to create my sequence. So I'm going to say that this is a follow-up sequence. So this is a follow-up sequence. I had an event or I had a webinar, and I want to be able to add everyone that attended that webinar into the sequence. So we can be able to say that the first thing that is going to go out is that we want to send out an automated email to them. So we can be able to pick from all of our templates inside of this list, or we can create a new email like the way we created for the email templates. So if you create a new template, you can be able to add this email template to the sequence, or you can say that, you know what, okay, I just want to use the email template I already have. So I'm going to add in the follow-up email, and as you can see, it added the subject line, it added this the body of the email itself. If you do not like this, you can actually edit it from this particular place, and you can add in whatever it is you want to add. So you can also see in here so you can also see in here that your default signature is included, and we are going to update the existing template, or you can save as new template if you want. So after the first email is done, another thing we can also do inside of this place is that we can be able to add another automated email. So we can say that it should send this as a reply to the previous email. So this is going to be like it is going to send as a new reply to that email, this first email that is being sent. So it is going to be like a reply. You know how someone send you a Gmail in Gmail, a mail in Gmail, or an email in Gmail, whatever it is, you can be able to reply that particular email, and it is going to be on the same thread. Yes, you can send this sequence exactly the same way. So you can say that if you want to reply this, it is going to be on that same email thread inside of the Gmail account. And you can say that, you know, just add it as a new thread. But I want to use it as a new thread so that they can be able to, if they do not see the first one, it is going to create a thread whereby it is sending another email, but it is under the first one. So we can say that it is going to send in as a reply to the previous email, and we can say this is the previous email you want to add, and you can then click on next to add in your email template. So you can pick in whatever email template you want to use inside of this list. And as you can see, it added the delay as 1 business day. If you didn't want to use 1 business day, you can say that, okay, I do not want to use 1 business day. I want to use 3 business days, 5 business days, whatever it is you want to use. So this is a follow-up email, and I want to send this 5 business days. So that means it is going to wait for 5 business days. And remember that business days is from Monday to Friday. Yeah. So if this is being sent on Friday, it is going to send the next email by next week, Thursday. So that is how that works. And also, after sending that email, maybe they do not reply. The next thing you can also add is your manual email task. Remember that this is an email task, not just a regular task. It's going to be a manual email task. So you can say that this should be a manual task whereby you are not going to be sending this out immediately or directly or automatically. It is going to be a task where you are sending out this email. So you can say that this email should be sent as a reply also, and you can say that it should send in as a reply to the first step, or you want to add it as a new thread if you want. And when you click on add email content, you can also see that you can be able to add your email template in here. So let's just pick this for this, and we can be able to edit this if you want. And as you can see, you can add this particular title, and you can say send follow-up email to, and now you can add the personalized token. We are going to be using first name. So we are sending this email to this person, and the priority should be I, and the queue, you can add in a new queue if you want. So you can also add in a note for this particular task, and you can say something like, oh, this is a manual task and we need to personally send out this email. We can edit this email and send it out to the contact at the particular time we want to be able to send out this particular email. So when you are done with adding all of this, you can also add in your personalized token. So you can add in first name, you can add in whatever it is you want for this particular note. Now you can also say that you want to pause this sequence until this particular task is completed for this particular contact. Now let's say you get to this particular stage, you can say that this particular sequence should be paused. So that means if this email is not sent, the automation or the sequence is not going to move to the next stage. I will actually advise you do this, because imagine you sent a manual email and the next stage of your email is something like, oh, we sent you an email on this particular date and you were not able to respond. Now imagine if you did not send this manual email and you actually sent an email again to say you sent the email. you can see that it's going to lead to a lot of confusion. But if this does not really affect your workflow, you can take it off and you can just click on add, and that is going to add your manual email task. And remember that you can also change this to whatever business day you want to use, and then you click on save also. So after that, you can also add in a call task, and the call task just allows you to be able to call them manually and follow up with them. So you can say call this particular contact to follow up. So we can say instead of call contact, we can add in their name, so that we can know where this particular task is going to. So we can add in the name and the last name. So we can say call Adam Ross, or call um Avi, or whoever you want to add to this particular task. And you can add this priority to be I, or you can add it to a queue also, and you can add a note. Remember that you can also personalize however you want. And when you click on add, it is also going to add that particular task. You can be able to do this in such a way that you can create a sequence for 10 emails to go over the period of 6 months, and you just keep going. You do not even need to like lift a finger. Sometimes we set up sequence and we just forget that we've actually set up sequence for that particular contact. That is the power of automation. You do not need a reminder to remind you to always send your emails. You do not need a reminder to tell you that you need to send this particular emails. You can just set up the email to be automated, and it goes out at the particular time that you want for each of the contacts. And that is the amazing thing about sequences. So if you check also in here, the last one we've not seen is the general task. So for instance, maybe you've gotten to this stage, you can say that, okay, we want to be able to send proposal to this person at this particular stage. You can say that you want to send proposal for contact, or you want to send contract, or you want to jump on a call, whatever it is you want to add for this particular task, you can also do that. And you can also pause the sequence until it is completed. So that means if this task is not completed for this particular contact, it will not be going to the next stage of the sequence. So you can click on I for the priority, you can add to a queue, you can also personalize, and you can click on add. After doing all of this, you can even say that you want to send an automated email again. And you can say you want to add in as a new thread, or you want to add in as a new step also, a new thread or a reply if you want. So let's add in an email content, and we can add this again to this particular workflow, this particular sequence. So we can say this should be sent after 3 business days, and you click on save, and that will be added. So as you can see, we have 6 steps, and we have 15 days to complete these 6 steps. And we can also see that we have 50% automated steps. So that means all of the emails that are being automated inside of this place is only 50% of the 6 step, which is 3. And we have on enrolled criteria, which you can be able to edit in the settings. And if you make sure that you've added in everything you need to add, you can be able to edit each of these. You can edit tasks, you can edit trading, you can move up, you can move down if you want. You can also delete this particular step if you want. So you can do this for each of these. And remember that you can also add A or B split testing for each of this particular email also. So if you go to the settings over here, you can make sure that this is actually executing on business days alone. And this is actually very advisable because sequence is automated. So it is possible that there are some days that is going to be getting on Sundays if you do not use the business days. So let's say someone comes in on Friday, and your sequence was supposed to send an email one day after. Now, if you want to send one day after, you know that if they come in on Friday, it is going to be sending on a Saturday. Now, most people do not like sending emails on weekends because they believe people will not be available to read that email. Imagine sending email on Sunday by 8 a.m. That is a weird time. So you can say that, okay, everyone should be sent an email. The step should only execute on business days. So even if the task are going to be coming in, it is going to be coming in also on a business day. This is even going to allow you also to be able to see the task that are being created even on a business day instead of using the weekend. So you can also say that the window for email should be 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., or you can say 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., however it is you want. You can also set in reminders for your task. So an email reminder is going to be sent. You can say that, okay, it should be sent by So this is for task actually, and you can see that the email reminder should be sent by 8 a.m. You can also add to a marketing campaign if you want. Now you can also automate some things inside of this place, and you can say that if a contact reply to any of this email, you can decide to unenroll you can decide to unenroll these contacts from this sequence, or you can say that you want to unenroll all of the contacts that are actually connected to a particular company. Or you can say that if they actually book a meeting, you also want to remove them from the sequence. Now, this is actually very good, especially if this sequence is for people to book a call or if it is for them to reply your email. So if they reply and say something like, "Oh, please take me off from your list. I do not want to get this email again." If they reply that, they are going to be removed from the sequence. Or if they actually book a meeting, that means they are ready to move forward with us, and it will not make any sense for us to continue sending these emails on this email sequence. So we can take them off from this email sequence. So you can also create an automation for these people, and you can say that, you know what, if anybody comes from a particular form, we want to add them to this particular sequence. And I actually advise you do this for the contact that are coming from maybe your website form, or maybe they filled a particular form on your website and you want to be able to add them to this sequence. This is the automation you are going to use for that. So you can say that you want to enroll contacts into the sequence. You can say that you want to wait for maybe 60 minutes before you enroll them into the sequence, or you want to wait for 120 minutes, or whatever it is. Remember that this is a minute actually. And you can also add in a specific sender, or you can add in the contact owner property to actually send this email, and you can use the contact time zone if you want. So when you click on create, you are saying that everyone that is going to be filling out any form should be enrolled inside of this sequence. If you do not want that, you can easily just turn this off. But if you want that, you can actually turn this on. So that is for your steps, for your settings, and for your automation. Now that you are done with everything, you want to click on save. And when you click on save here, as you can see, you can save this sequence as a private sequence. And if it is a private sequence, it is only going to be viewed by you who have actually created the sequence. And you can say that everyone on the team should be able to see the sequence, or you want to just choose a particular team. If you are creating a sequence for the sales team, you can say that only the sales team should be able to see the sequence. Maybe you don't want the operation team to see it. So that is for that. But we are going to choose everyone because you want everyone to be able to view this sequence. And when you are done, you click on save, and that is going to save your particular sequence. Okay, we can see that this particular people actually are unsubscribed, so we can be able to only allow this person. So I need to make sure that I actually give consent for all of these contacts first before I can be able to add them inside of the sequence. So when I click on next, I'm going to see that Olivia is going to be added inside of the sequence. And we can say that we do not want Olivia to start from the email. You can say that you want her to start from the email part for the task, or you want her to start from step 5. You do not want her to start from step 1, or you want her to start from step 4. So this allows you to be able to skip some steps for Olivia if you want, or for the particular contact you want to add to this sequence if you want. So I want to start from the beginning, so I'm just going to pick that, and I can click on start sequence. When I click on start sequence, that is going to start this sequence for Olivia. And now I can be able to see all of the enrollments inside of this particular sequence. I can see the performance to see the number of people that are coming in. I can see the number of people that are enrolling. I can see the people that are booking a meeting from this sequence. I can see the open rate, the click rate, and I can see all of the steps for this particular sequence inside of HubSpot. I really, really do love this sequence because I just love the ends free. Like, I do not need to start waking up every day to remember if I have sent this follow-up email or not. Like, it is done automatically. And I love automated things. I believe that the most reason why we are getting a CRM is to make our life easier. And this is one of the things in HubSpot that actually make the business life easier, or the business owner's life easier. So you can also decide to manage sharing. You can pause this sequence if you want. And when you pause this sequence, it is going to pause for everyone that has been enrolled inside of the sequence. You can also decide to clone it. You can move from one folder to another. You can add to campaigns if you want. And you can also enroll contacts, or you can automate the enrollment and say that if they're coming from a form, we want to send to this particular sequence, or if they book a call, you want to send to this sequence. As you can see, it is actually very simple and it is really not that hard. You just need to understand the dynamics of the things you're trying to build for your own particular business, and you can set that up for your own business inside of HubSpot. I'm here again to tell you that if you're not subscribed to this channel, you are making a huge mistake. And I want you to go ahead right now and subscribe to this channel. I'm not asking you for any other thing, just for you to subscribe. Thank you so much as you do that. And I want to say a very big thank you to all of our subscribers out there. If you are subscribed to this channel already, I want to say a very big thank you to you. I see you and I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate your effort in subscribing. Thank you so much. So let's continue. Okay, so now another part we want to look at inside of email marketing for HubSpot is the workflow and automation part of HubSpot. We've seen how we can be able to create sequence, but workflow is actually different from sequence in such a way that we can be able to create workflow for different things. One of the most common workflow that we can create for email automation is we can create welcome series. Welcome series allows you to be able to send emails for every new contact you are getting inside of the organization. So you can create series of emails whereby maybe you are welcoming them into your organization, you are sending them emails to appreciate them for joining your community, or you are sending them emails based on the thing you do in your organization, what you do, the people you have served, the people that have been able to say good things about your business. You can be able to send case studies. All of these things are found inside of the welcome series. Another workflow that we can create also is the lead magnet workflow. Let's say you actually created a freebie PDF guide and you want people to be able to download that guide to get their details. You can be able to create a workflow whereby you are sending out emails to them based on different criteria. So if they're coming in and they're coming in from Instagram, or if they're coming in and they're coming in from LinkedIn, we can send a different email. If they're coming in from Instagram, we can send a different email. If they're coming from USA, you can send a different email. So all of this customization can be done inside of workflows instead of using sequence. Sequence just allows us to be able to send emails to anyone over time. But in automation or in workflows, we can be able to create these workflows to fulfill different criteria to send different emails to particular people at a particular time. To create the most common email automation we have out there, which is the welcome series automation, we can click on create workflow here, and we can be able to start from scratch, or we can use the templates that HubSpot currently have. And as you can see, they have a lot of templates. They have a lot of good templates. So you can see there that we can create an email series when a form is submitted. We can assign tasks when a deal is created. We can even create drip campaign to customer, maybe when they come in from the form, or when they come in from a particular survey. We can also be able to tell contact owner when a new lead has interacted with our website. This is actually a lot of very good they have a lot of very good workflow templates. And remember that I said that the main reason why we are getting a CRM is to make our life easier. And workflow inside of HubSpot is actually really, really underestimated. Like, I still feel like people are not using workflows the way they should. And I created a video up here where I actually went deep dive and explain how to use workflows inside of HubSpot. It's actually a very long video, and we actually went deep dive how to actually use HubSpot workflows. And that is because the workflow, it has a lot of capability that a lot of people do not even know, or a lot of people do not even understand. So that is for that. So we can say we want to create a welcome. So let me see if they have a welcome series already. We can just use that. So as you can see here, they said we want to send welcome email to new customers. They only have one welcome email. That's fine. So we can be able to select this, and we can be able to use this template for this. So as you can see here, they said if a life cycle stage is set to customer, we want to send a welcome email. You can even send onboarding series. So if a person actually convert to a customer in your organization, you want to send an onboarding series with them, you can actually do this with workflows. So let's start from scratch. So I can show you how to actually create this from scratch. Or you can even use their AI. And if you go back in here, you can also use their AI to create this workflow. So if you use AI with AI in here, you can be able to write a particular prompt you want to use for this workflow, and it is going to create the workflow for you. Isn't that amazing? I'm going to create a video where I am going to explain how to use Breeze AI inside of HubSpot. I believe that HubSpot is one of the CRM that has actually understood how to use AI inside of CRM. Like there are some CRM that it's very annoying when you take a look at how AI is being used. Like they have AI in every aspect of the CRM, and you're like, oh my god, but we do not need this. There's some particular places that we actually need AI in reporting, in automation, in email segments. You want to create email and you want the AI to rewrite your email and all of those things. All of those parts, the AI Breeze is available in there. Like they added it in strategic places. If you want to give a summary for a particular contact and you want to be able to summarize a particular contact, those specific places, it is very amazing how HubSpot has actually understand how to integrate AI into their CRM and not make it very overwhelming and make it a nuisance. But you can use the AI, but let us see how we can be able to create this ourselves. If we start from scratch, we can be able to select what we want to use for this particular thing or this particular trigger. So the trigger just means now what is going to happen when we want to send this email. Is it when a form is created? I mean, when a form is submitted, or is it when a particular contact is converted to a customer, or is it when they come in through a particular booking page, or whatever it is? So we can say once use the data value is being created. So we can say when a contact is created, or we can even say when a form is submitted. Let me see if I can find form. So as you can see, you can search in whatever it is you want. They actually have a lot of triggers, and I'm not going to be looking at everything in here. It is in that video where we talked about everything about workflow. We talked about some of this in detail so you can be able to understand it. So you can see the form we just created, the contact us form. You can say if anybody fill out this form on our website, we want to be able to create a welcome series for them. So we can see here that it is, you can say if they view the form, or if they submit the form, or if they interact with the form. So we want to use form submission because obviously they submitted the form. Form submission has been completed any number of times and the form is contact us form. You can also add in another criteria if you want. You can say if all of this happen and they're from USA, or if all of this happen and they're from a particular country. So you can also see that this trigger has been created, and when this trigger has been created, you can then click on next. You can add in different conditions if you want. You can say if the country is this, if the contact owner is Emma Glory, if they are coming from a particular lead source, if their lead status is open, whatever it is you want to add, you can also add that in. If you do not want to add that, you can just remove that condition, and you can say for everyone filling out this form, they are going to be coming inside of this workflow. When you click on next in here, you can allow contacts to re-enroll after completing the workflow. Now you want to be careful in here because you're automatically saying that if they've actually gone through the whole workflow, they can come in again even after they fill out that form again. So do not turn this on if you do not want that, and you click on save and continue. And now this is going to save this particular trigger, and as you can see here, you can be able to do all of these when it comes to the actions. You can ask the AI for whatever it is you want to do, but the obvious thing we want to do is we want to send emails. So we can decide to enroll inside of a sequence, although that is logged in the Sales Up Enterprise. Oh my god, just to use that is logged. This is one thing I do not like about HubSpot. Everything is logged inside of a higher plan. Like I want to just add in a row sequence inside of the workflow, and they're telling me it is logged inside of the sales enterprise. And the sales enterprise is like I think $150 or so, right? Yes, $150 per seat. Oh my god, HubSpot. Well, it's fine. We are just going to skip that. So we are going to say we want to send email. Now we can be able to use, remember we created automated email recently, and we can be able to select any of the automated email we have actually created inside of our HubSpot account. So that means if they are filling out this form, we can send email one, and we can say that email one should go out to them at this particular immediately. So this is an immediate thing because when this trigger happens, they are coming in to send email. We can also decide that to see the email in here. So you can see the preview of the email. And if you want to edit this email, just click on edit here and you can be able to edit the email inside of this place. So you can also decide to edit all of this inside of the email and you can click on save email inside of this place. If you do not like that email, you can select another email and it is also going to add that in. Let me use follow-up email. Yeah, so let's use this email, follow-up email, and we can be able to use that for the welcome series. Now, when you do that, you want to click on save, and now it is going to ask you, who are we actually sending this email to? Is it the enrolled contact or is it the associated contact? I will actually advise you send to the enrolled contact because it is the enrolled contact that is filling out this form and they are the ones coming inside of this automation. So when we click on save, that is going to save this particular action inside of this place. And now it is very important to note that you need to create an automated email first before you come inside of this workflow editor to add in your automated email. If you have not created your automated email, you need to go back into email. You need to go back into email under marketing and you need to create an automated email inside of HubSpot before you can actually do this. So if you come over here to our email and we say that we want to create an automated email, so we can create another email in here and we can say we want to create an automated email and we want to use this particular template and we can say we want to name this second email, or you can name it whatever it is you want for yourself and you can click on save and publish. Oh, subscription type should be marketing information. Subject line should be, so I'm going to click on review and publish and I'm going to click on publish and this is going to publish my second email inside of HubSpot. So as you can see, I can add it to workflow, form, whatever. And if I come back in here also, I can then decide that when this first email is sent for my welcome series, I want to add in a delay. So I want to add in a delay of maybe 3 days, or I can say I want to add in a delay based on a particular calendar date. Calendar date is very important if you're having events and you want to say that maybe 3 days before the event you want to send that particular email, or you want to say 3 days before a particular thing you want to send that particular email. So you can say that maybe on a particular time we can say we want to send this on August 6th, or want to use a date property. So if you ask for a particular date, maybe a date to their birthday, you want to send a message to them and say that, do you know tomorrow is your birthday and we have a gift for you tomorrow, blah 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 blah. That also helps. If you have a contact field that is called proposal dates, you can be able to use that also in this workflow automation. And you can also decide that you want to say that until an event occur, that is when you are going to be sending this particular or doing this particular delay. So you can say that when until maybe the lead stage is updated to contacted, or until the lead status is updated to new or to contacted, whatever it is you want to use. So we are going to be using the normal one. We're just going to be using the set amount of time and we're going to say that we should delay for 3 days. So we are delaying for 3 days and we are only using the business day. Remember that this is a welcome series and we can say that 3 days after we want to send in another email. So you can see that we're using it for the set for a set amount of time, and we can be able to click on save here. And when you click on save, it is going to save this particular delay in here, and we can also add in another action and we can say that we want to send an email also for the second email. And now when we click on choose automation, as you can see, our second email here has been added. That is because it is an automated email from that particular space in our marketing email. So when you are done, you can then click on save and this is going to add your next email. You can keep repeating this process for each of the particular stages. You can say 4 days later, you want to send another automated email, and 5 days later, you want to send another automated email, or you can say you want to wait until a particular thing happens, you want to send another one again. Remember that you can also build with the AI prompt if you want. At the end of this workflow, we want to update property, or maybe we can say that at the end of this workflow, we want to set a particular property to maybe want to set the lead status to contacted. So we are going to pick this particular So we're going to edit the record, and we can say that we want to edit the contact and we want to edit the lead status. So we're going to look for the lead status here, and we're going to change the type, and we're going to say that we want to replace whatever is in there. We want to replace that with contacted. We can then pick whatever it is we want to use inside of the lead status. I'll be choosing contacted, and I'm going to be saying that we are replacing the lead status with contacted. So if you've created this workflow from the beginning to the end, you are saying that after this workflow has finished for this particular contact, we want to apply this particular lead status to contacted. This is going to allow us to be able to see that this workflow has been completed for this contact. That is why they are in the contacted stage for the lead status. Oh my god, I hope that's not confusing. So we're going to be naming this welcome series, and we can be able to edit this description, or you can ask the AI to generate the description for you. So let me just name this welcome series, and we'll ask AI to generate the description. So as you can see, it has added the description for us, and this is going to allow anybody coming inside of your organization to be able to see the description for this particular sequence, or this particular, no, not sequence, this particular workflow. So when you click on save in here, this is going to save your workflow, and you can be able to see all of the stages inside of this workflow. As you can see, it is very, very simple, and you just need to decide what your trigger is going to be and the emails you are going to be sending at a particular time you are going to be sending them. And also, if you come to the file over here, you can create new one, you can clone it, you can also export as PNG, or you can also organize this workflow. You can also click on edit to edit the enrollment trigger. And also remember that you can edit this criteria from the beginning. And if you want to change anything you want to change inside of this place, you can also be able to change that. And also you can be able to add an action also in this place, the next action, but we do not want that actually. And we can also say that we want to edit a goal. So we can be able to set a particular goal for this sequence or for this particular welcome series. So we can say that we want to be able to re-enroll people if you want. So that means even if someone actually completes this workflow, you can be able to re-enroll them even after they fulfill that trigger in the first place. So that means we can be able to add in that particular contact. Any contact that has finished this workflow can be added again so far they fulfill this trigger criteria. But sometimes I do not like this re-enroll because it actually creates, especially if you are sending emails, you are going to be sending the particular set of emails twice to the person, and it's not okay to actually do that. So you can add in a workflow goal, and you can say that maybe if they respond to this particular if they respond to any of this email, we want to take them out. Or we want to say that if the contact property is moving from, let's say if the list status is moving to closed one, we do not want to send them the welcome series any longer. So that means for everyone that actually fulfill this criteria, we are going to be taking them from the workflow. So that means they are going to be removed from this workflow. Okay, so that is for that. And we can also see the settings in here where you can be able to, run on specific dates. You can be able to pause action on specific dates. If you want to be able to pause this action on maybe holidays, or maybe you have events and you want to say that after this event we do not want to send this email again, you can actually do that. You can also schedule this workflow to turn off automatically at a particular date. If you have a webinar that is going to come up by we're in August, so if you have a webinar that is going to come up by September, you can say that this should actually turn off by September 5, and after September 5 this workflow is not going to be sent any longer. So that is for that also. And you can also decide to view the comments on this workflow. You can check the enrollment history, you can check the performance of this workflow, and all of this can be checked inside of the workflow. So when you are done, you can also test this workflow by testing with a particular contact inside of your account, and this allows you to be able to see how the emails are being sent to the particular person you are testing with. And you can be able to see, you should actually test it yourself to see if this workflow is working perfectly. And when you test with yourself, you can be able to see if it is working or not. And you can be able to see the emails that are being sent to you and see if that email is actually working as it should. Okay, so that is for the testing. And we have the performance history where we can be able to see the enrollment. Anybody that actually enrolled into this welcome series workflow, we can be able to see them inside of this place. And you can be able to filter based on maybe the last quarter, this quarter, last year, whatever it is you want to use, you can also use that. You can even use custom dates if you want. If you also want to see the troubleshoot enrollment, if you want to troubleshoot a particular contact, you feel like a particular contact should have actually enrolled into this workflow and they have not, you can be able to select any contact and you can be able to see why they are not being enrolled or what is going on with that particular contact. So you can also be able to see the action log. You can be able to see the action log to see the things that are going on. Maybe the emails are being sent or the tasks are being created. Whatever it is you want to see, you can be able to see all of the successes, the information and all. Okay, so that is for that. If you click on edit workflow again, it is going to take you to the page and you can also see troubleshoot actions if you want. Now you can review and turn this on and you can be able to see the people that actually fit this criteria that you've actually set in. So it is possible that there are people that are actually fitting all of this criteria that you have inside of this place. You can be able to add them into this workflow. So let's say you want to add people that actually fill out that have filled out the form. Let's say the form has been filled by 10 people. HubSpot is going to calculate the number of people that have actually filled out this form, and you can say yes, you want to enroll them to the this particular automation when it is turned on. But if you are saying no, that means even when it is turned on, the 10 people are not going to be added into this workflow. So you can use yes if you want that, and you can use no if you do not want that. Another thing you can also do is that you can manually add contacts to this place. You can say you want to add contacts that are coming in from a segment, or you want to add contacts that are coming in from a custom filter, or you want to even add individual contacts if you want. You can search the contact you want to add and you can just select them and you can save enroll existing contact and it's going to enroll them to this particular workflow. And that is if you actually want to do that. Okay, so that is for that. And we can also see in here, we can see what is going to, we can see the trigger. That means when this happens, this workflow is going to be set. We can also see if there's enrollment conditions. We can also see that the re-enroll is actually off. And we can also do all of these settings. And we can click on next to do the timing. You can run this workflow at specific time. You can turn it off at specific time. You can see the connections to this workflow, how many forms are connected, how many emails are connected. If you have sequence connected to this, you can also see that also. And when you click on next, you can also see the name and the description. You can choose a folder to add this workflow to, and you can also choose a campaign to add this workflow to. When you are done with all of the settings, you want to click on turn on workflow, and that is going to turn on your workflow. And this workflow is going to be turned on, and you can then turn it off if you want. Now, remember that workflow happens automatically. So you want to make sure that this trigger is what you want to use, because anyone that fits in this trigger is going to be receiving this email automatically. And if you want to actually stop this workflow, you can then click on turn off workflow, and it is going to turn off the workflow for this particular set of people. So this is how to create workflow inside of HubSpot. So another thing you want to take note of when you start sending emails inside of HubSpot is that you want to track the analytics. It is very important you actually track the analytics, because when you click on a particular email contact, you should be able to track the open rates, especially to know the number of people that are actually opening the email, or the people that are actually clicking on the things in your email. And if you're having bounce rates, if you're having if the delivery, if you're having spam, if you're having unsubscribe, or if you're having spam reports, you want to make sure that you investigate why you are having those bounces and why you are having that spam report. It is actually very, very important you do this, because email marketing is a very integral part of your CRM. And if the email marketing is not working the way it should, your CRM is going to be crippled from early on. So you want to make sure that if you're having spam reports, if you're having bounces, you want to make sure to know where each of these are actually coming from, so you can be able to fix it. The open rate just suggests the number of people that are actually opening your emails. The click rate suggests those people that are actually clicking on the links in your emails. And the reply rate means that the unique reply that is coming in from your emails. Maybe they reply to your email and they say they want to move on with your product, or they reply and say that they want you to take them off their list. And if they say they want you to take them off their list, you should respect their decision and actually take them off your list. It is actually very important to respect the subscribers' privacy. If they say, I do not want to hear from you, stop sending to them, remove them from the sequence or from the workflow you have actually created for them. It is actually very important to do this. So for each of this email, you can be able to track the performance by coming inside of this place, and you can be able to see the recipients inside of this place. You can see those people that are delivered, you can see the opened, you can see the clicked, you can see the replied, the bounce, the email, you can see the not sent. The not sent can be maybe due to a particular thing, maybe the emails are not correct, or maybe they are not fulfilling the subscription type. Maybe they are not a marketing contact. If they are not a marketing contact, HubSpot is not going to send marketing emails to them. So you want to make sure that you turn every of your contacts to marketing contact first before you start sending emails to them. It is actually very important you do that. Okay, so you might be asking, is HubSpot actually good for email marketing? I'm going to say 100% yes. But I just feel like there are a lot of things that are locked up behind the professional plan. And you want to make sure that if you are going to be using email marketing in HubSpot, you can be able to afford all of these things. If you cannot be able to afford all of these things, it is very easier for you to go with a dedicated email marketing tool, especially if you do not need the CRM also. But if you need the CRM and you feel like you can be able to afford HubSpot professional plan at the long run, then you can actually use email marketing in HubSpot to the maximum level. And it is actually very, very impressive what HubSpot can do in email marketing. So that brings us to the end of email marketing inside of HubSpot. And if you would like to set this up for your business, you can book your free discovery call. The link is in the description below. And we're going to set this up from the beginning to the end for your business. And we're also going to see how we can be able to maximize HubSpot for email marketing inside of your business. If you also need help in setting up and configuring your HubSpot account, we are also available for you. You can also book that free discovery call. The link is in the description below. And also, do not forget to send an email to us at contact@crminstructors.com if you have any question, and we are available to answer all of your questions. Also, do not forget to subscribe and like this video and share with everyone who you think is going to need this video. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next video. Bye.